Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with great recent recordings of the classics. And today we're going to talk about Beethoven's Emperor Concerto. Boy, are we in good shape for Beethoven piano concertos. We really are. And it's very interesting to see what's happened historically, over the past, couple of decades, because originally, when the period instrument people got their hands on music of the classical period, it was sort of a shotgun wedding. First of all, they felt they had to do it, and it wasn't a comfortable one, not in the least, because it seems that the strictures of Baroque performance practice were not always ideally suited to music of the classical repertoire, and certainly not to Beethoven, who was a very forward-looking composer. And as a result of that, it took them some time, quite a bit of time. The creeping miasma of period instrument foolishness had to embed itself in the Romantic period before, Beethoven performance became acceptable in the period way. And there's nothing wrong with it, actually. I mean, it depends on the performance. It's like anything else. The elements that go into the recipe are fine, but ultimately you got to have a chef who knows what he's doing. And you can get wonderful performances, you can get horrible ones. But the piano concertos, the violin concerto too, really, really lagged behind. And the reason, of course, is because of the instrument. Beethoven was notoriously dissatisfied with the keyboard instruments of his era. He would give performances and bust strings all over the place, and it was terrible disaster. And his writing for the instrument is extraordinarily powerful. And when it's played on instruments of Beethoven's day, as often as not, it sounds dreadful. Oh my goodness, just horrible. And so for a long time, the Beethoven piano concertos were not touched by the period instrument people. And when they were, it was a little bit gingerly, the forte piano crowd. And you'll remember Melvin Tan. He did Beethoven piano concertos with Roger Norrington or somebody like that. God knows. And oh my God, they were awful. They were on EMI. Nobody liked them. Nobody cares about them. Nobody talks about them now. We have other forte pianists these days who've been able to find instruments or reconstructions of instruments that work better in the music. Robert Levin, probably first and foremost among them. But even so, the Beethoven piano concertos remain the province of principally modern pianists on modern instruments. However they play those instruments, whatever they do, whether they try and make them sound more forte piano-ish by using less pedal and a drier articulation, or whether they, just go full bore. We have still been very, very lucky in recordings of Beethoven piano concertos since 2000, since the turn of the 21st century. Really, really marvelous performances. In fact, my reference recording, or one of my reference recordings, or one of my however choices, however you want to put it, for the Emperor Concerto is a post-2000 recording. And there are more than one, actually. There are several. And we're going to go, as we go through the cycle, we'll mention performances in other post-2000 cycles. So you'll begin to see what we're getting at, because boy, are we in good shape with these pieces. It's this one, which I have talked about, but particularly this one for the reasons I'll tell you in a minute. It's Yefim Bronfman, the Tonhalle Orchestra of Zurich, with David Zinman conducting. This is just a splendid series. Now, Zinman, as you probably know, did the Beethoven symphonies in the new Bärenreiter editions, wholly period instrumentized in his approach, but it was a modern orchestra, so you sort of get the best of both worlds. Well, he's doing the same here, but he's got Zinman, who is using a regular grand piano, as a Steinway or something. I don't know if it says here, but it's a nice, big, juicy piano that he plays uninhibitedly, which is exactly what you want, with sharpness and accent and verve, and the combination is just fabulous. It's a real best of both worlds situation. It really is. It's a glorious performance with a wonderfully military and proud first movement, a beautiful singing adagio. It flows. It has lovely, lovely keyboard tone. It doesn't sound like a xylophone concerto. And an ebullient finale. It's just marvelous. It's absolutely first rate. There's nothing you can criticize about it in a negative sense. But the other reason to get this particular recording, if you get it as a physical product, if it still exists, is because you also get a fabulous choral fantasy, a wonderful work that doesn't get as much attention as it deserves because it's so weird. You got a solo piano and like 5 soloists and a big chorus, and it lasts, 19 minutes. And the chorus, Calm Sea and Prosperous Voyage, that little piece that's just, it's 7 minutes long and delightful. So the couplings are wonderful, and the pianism is amazing, and the performance is stupendous, and it all happened after the turn of the 20th century. So we're in business. Beethoven concerti seem to be safe from the predations of cultural decadence and nihilism, as if that were a problem. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.